Hello and welcome to the North Bank podcast, or more specifically, the latest in our North Bank Meets series. Today we welcome Dan from, well, I know him from TikTok, from littlebithandbrake. But Dan, I'm sure you can fill us all in on where we can get our Dan fix. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us, and welcome, Dan.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
I feel like I know you, which is really weird because you pop up every day on TikTok, so I listen to your talking head pieces every day on TikTok. So I feel like I know you, but we've literally only just met. So so
it's quite an alarming way to introduce yourself.
Yeah, if I'm over familiar, I apologise. Anyway, so Dan, what kind of keeps you busy? Where else can we find you? I know you do an Arsenal podcast as well, but
so it's seasonal, that one. The Arsenal, like all good vegetables, it's the Arsenal agenda. It's currently on hiatus at the minute, but yeah, in season, the Arsenal agenda. And I've also got a second podcast, which is not football oriented in any way, shape or form, which is called RuMayoNation. I actually hand painted this, so it won't take up too much time. It will be backwards, but yeah, you can find that on YouTube and all that kind of biz. What's the nature of that podcast? Oh man, the podcast equivalent of throwing shit at a wall and seeing what happens to be created.
Sticks.
Jackson Dollop, basically. Yeah, it's just a bit of everything, randomness. Yeah, just me going through whinging, complaining about family life, having to have rows with BT internet, and just random nonsense, essentially.
Excellent. Right, okay, we will link to it in the description below.
Oh yeah,
as well,
go along. So. It's quite the ride.
Okay, lovely. And I know you from TikTok. Now, you're now called Little Bit Handbrake. Obviously, reference there to Monsieur Wenger. Perhaps.
Yeah, Lord Wenger, yes.
But before that, you were nothing knee-jerk.
Yeah, and before that, I was a little bit gooner.
Okay. Evolution of Dan Mayo via
TikTok. Forced evolution by the pervert culture on the internet. Because the word, I'd cautiously say Google it, but don't. But the word gooner now means something entirely different than Arsenal fan, which I didn't know. I don't know how graphic I can be on here, really, but it's the apparently it's the word for a man having some good time alone where he takes his time over it. So to do that, so then whenever I do a video, people then comment going, "Oh, I love to goon," "Oh, I'm a gooner," and I'm like, "What is this like?" And apparently it's a term for onanism in waves, let's say. So I had to change it from that because I was sick of getting,
understandable.
And also, I think TikTok didn't like it. So when I hashtagged it, it would like remove the hashtag and stuff. So TikTok was kind of like, whoa. So that's very much not seeing it as, because we know it's a colloquialism for the Arsenal fans, right? But no, apparently not. So I changed it to nothing knee jerk, and you think that should be safe. But then I remembered the word jerk is in it, and then someone said, what is into, and then you go, okay, right. Do you know what? Fine. You win. I'll go back to
a theme. There's a theme, Dan.
But I know somewhere handbrake is phallic. So someone somewhere, you know what they're going to do. They're going to go, oh right, but no, not that, because it would like I didn't make that up, right? Wenger used to say like we had the little bit handbrake on.
Yes, of course. That's where. Right.
So
of course.
That's just kind of etched in my mind. But yeah, so that's why, because people are perverts and the internet can't be trusted, basically.
Or there was a subconscious theme bubbling to the surface, Dan.
Or therapy is on the cards at some point, but yeah.
The other thing I need to ask you with regards to your TikTok is your one follower. Oh no, not your one follower. Sorry, you follow one person.
Yeah. So that's Marwan Shamak. And it's not Marwan Shamak, it's someone who inexplicably has made an account where he's got the picture of Marwan Shamak and the name Marwan Shamak, and he follows, I think, nobody and posts nothing. Because I used to have hashtag Squillaci Survivor, but I couldn't find any Squillaci accounts. Then my next best was Marwan Shamak, who mostly I follow for hair tips, to be honest. I do. Do you know what? I'm cutting my nose to spite my face there, because I think I'd genuinely grow quicker if I was to like be more engaging via following people, but because I've started this bit now, I can't. I'm committed to the bit, so he's the only one I follow until he changes his account to something else entirely, and then I don't know what I'll do. But
do you have any happy memories of the player?
I
I'm thinking, was it QPR
I remember
away?
scrambling. Yeah, I remember scrambling whenever I'd have to justify his existence in an Arsenal shirt. I remember scrambling constantly for that record of consecutive goals in the Champions League that not even Lionel Messi achieved. And like it was in any way applicable to Arsenal, because it wasn't. It was for Bordeaux. But I used to just cling on to that. I think he scored in like 8 consecutive Champions League games. And I thought, we must be good then. But just it never quite happened.
I didn't know that.
Oh, I clung on to it desperately while I was trying to justify.
I appreciate I'm in the presence of a Shamak fanboy here. Obviously.
I mean, yeah, this is the start of a fledgling Marouane Chamakh appreciation group. So.
I do remember him playing in the game. Reading, not QPR. The game at Reading was at the 7-6 or 7-5.
Yeah, it was 7-5. I won money on that. I put money on us to go through at 4-0 down.
Wow.
I sat in my uni room and I went full Mystic Meg. I just thought we're still going to win this. The game was chaotic. The goals we conceded were them random ones where you're getting slapped and stung, and everything that could go wrong was. But I thought, a couple of goals, and then I mean that's the one where they threw their shirts into the crowd,
they thought
right?
we were through. Let's get their shirts back.
Yeah. So it weren't like crazy money. I'm not an idiot, but I earned a bit of money off it.
Not a complete idiot.
Yeah. But I was like, I reckon I don't know, get a feeling we can win this. And I've never won a bet since. So I used up all my luck then.
They say you should never win a freaky bet like that because it convinces you're some kind of
for sure
psychic genius.
And I've not managed to bend a spoon even to this day either. So I don't know what's going on, to be honest.
So listen, I mean, I don't know whereabouts you hail from or anything like that. So just talk us through your kind of connection with Arsenal. Why Arsenal, I guess, is the kind of overarching question.
So I grew up in MK. My family are all London, like Holloway, Islington. So it was kind of like, why Arsenal? Because that was it. That was, no option. My mum's a massive Arsenal fan. All her brothers. So it's kind of it's the family club. So that was kind of like you're Arsenal fans because you were born under this umbrella kind of thing. But grew up in MK, and that's why I was bought Arsenal, because my mum did basically.
What were the kind of who were the alternative possible, like in the playground growing up? What was the biggest pull?
I don't know. Do you know? Probably Man United, just because of the time, because I was born in 91. So obviously when I was conscious about football, like sort of 6, 97, 98. So, Arsenal were about winning the double, of course, but, United were the next big thing, I guess. But I used to watch Man United in the Champions League and kind of admire what they did. But they weren't really, like, my mum she knew that we were to be Arsenal fans. So it was kind of like, that was it, blinkered. You don't get any other choice. I knew it wasn't an option to go elsewhere. Not that I would have done, to make it very clear, but there was no one even close. Like, my dad didn't follow football. So, it's just Arsenal. Family functions, everyone's just sort of awkwardly staring at the floor till someone goes, did you see the game? And then, boom, we can start talking because Arsenal's our one thing. So,
Yeah. No, with the rule in my house is, look, I don't mind if you like football or don't like football, but if you like football, you're an Arsenal fan. Otherwise, you're homeless.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're homeless.
To be fair, so I have 2 stepkids, and they, as a way of sort of trying to get a thing with them, I did ask their mum, like, is their dad into football? Because if he isn't, I can do football. Like, that'd be my thing. And he's not at all into football. But his new partner was a Liverpool fan, so she was trying to pull him over to Liverpool, and it was a hard sell because that was when Liverpool were really quite good and Arsenal weren't. So I had to give it the whole sort of like, lads, just trust the process. Like, I know it doesn't look great right now. I know it doesn't look great, but it will come good. I think they got bought one rogue Liverpool shirt at their dad's side, and I had to make it very clear that's not acceptable, because his thing was, I like cars, but I don't just like one type of car. And it's like, but that's not how it works. If they go on the playground and they say, I support Arsenal and Liverpool, that's not a good look. The only thing worse is saying you support Spurs. But like, that is, So I did have to battle, but I won, and now Arsenal getting quite good again. So I'm kind of going, I've just about got away with that.
Unfortunately, we lost out to Liverpool that last season.
Yeah, and do you know what? They very nearly got taken to that victory parade. And I thought, boys, you don't want to see. Don't spoil it on them winning it. Wait till we do it.
Yeah, we will talk a little bit about what's going on currently in the Arsenal world, because even today there's been breaking transfer news that's unrelated to Arsenal but related to Arsenal, and there's a bit more related to what you've just said there. But before that, so if you were born in 91, 97, 98, great time to be becoming aware of Arsenal. Which players did you connect with? I mean, it's probably an obvious question answer, but which players in particular do you kind of connect with, identify with, or your first real role models?
So, like, the first, like, strong memories were obviously the double winning side, because we had a lad on our street called Newcastle Aaron who supported Newcastle, and he was the only Newcastle fan on the street, but the rest were just Arsenal. So I remember him being around watching the FA Cup final and having the time of my life. And yeah, that's then obviously Nicholas Anelka and Mark Overmars. But in terms of my formative Arsenal really knowing what's going on years, of course it's Thierry Henry and, you know, Dennis Bergkamp, Robert Pires, like, you know, anything from sort of 2000 to 2005 when you're old enough to kind of know what's going on, kind of thing. So I remember like Ian Wright and people like that, but that was very much as a 7-8-year-old where it's, I get that they're good because they're scoring, but I don't really get what they're doing that's making them score, kind of thing. But
did you realise how lucky you were to, or privileged you were as an Arsenal fan to be witnessing those players at the time? Because my memory of those players, I mean, Henry used to get a load of abuse from the fans at the games for missing chances. Like it was, and I remember saying at the time, there'll come a day where we'll look back on this player and think, wow, what a player we had.
That's what I said in the comments the other day when the Arsenal fans were kicking off about Madueke, and it's like, imagine if social media was around when we signed that unknown winger from Juve. Yeah, like, they wouldn't have had it, and then it went on to become Thierry Henry. And I'm not suggesting for 1 second Madueke will become that, but like, yeah, we should at least give them a chance.
He could, like, Henry. What did he? Was it? I don't know, 3 months or something. He was
dry,
average.
Yeah, barren,
Dennis Bergkamp, no goals in his first 7 or 8 games.
But to answer your question, no, I didn't realise how lucky I was until then. I've realised the dry, barren years of no league titles, and I go, I really did. It would have been an easier sell to my stepkids, for sure, if it was if they were born in a sort of a boom period like I was. But yeah.
And did you? I mean, you've referenced the '98 Cup final, Newcastle 2-0. Any other games that, like, I don't know, you know, what's your kind of attendance at Highbury? Highbury straight the Emirates like?
Yeah. So
any games stand out there?
Yeah. So the first game I went to was in 2004, and that was against Bolton, and we won 2-1. Pires and Bergkamp scored. And then I went to these were school trips. So I went to, and in 2006 I went to Arsenal West Brom, and it was Dennis Bergkamp Day. I don't know if you were there, but it had at Highbury. But they had every match day at home. They had a sort of tribute to a player, and they put all the orange T-shirts out on the chairs. And it was against West Brom, and Bergkamp came on and scored a very Bergkamp goal to make it 3-1. Yeah, that was a school trip, and I only got on that trip because I used it as bribery to complete my assignment on the Amazon rainforest. My humanities teacher ran the trip, so he was like, "If I can sort you out a ticket, would you do the assignment?" I'm like, "Yeah." All of a sudden, 75% of all the natural medicines are cultivated in the Amazon rainforest. You see, all of a sudden
motivated student
there.
So
so went on a school trip. So yeah, that was only my 2. I think I only went to Highbury twice, and then sort of circa 2008 to 2014, I went quite a lot. Sort of the Vermaelen years, where I'd go quite often. We had people that had season tickets that could never really use them, so we'd be in the North Bank. And then it kind of started to wind down. Well, when I met my now wife and took on her children and stuff, just time all of a sudden isn't there for me, and expendable income goes off a cliff. So it's kind of wound down. I can't justify the day out price now and the time away from the family, so that's kind of wind it down in terms of actually going, which is a shame, but equally, I know I'm making the right decision, and I couldn't afford it even if I wanted to make the other one. So basically, you get to
see all the games anyway.
Yeah, so I do miss going. Like, it was great going, and I don't know. Like I said, time and money at the minute. One day I'd love to pick it up again, but yeah, at the minute I'm quite limited.
Is there an Arsenal supporters group in Milton Keynes?
So I'm in Bedford now. I live in Bedford, and it's quite a strong Arsenal sort of movement around the place. There are quite a few Arsenal fans, not any kind of official thing that I've known to engage with, but then I'm quite intolerant of the general public, so I tend to keep myself quite insular anyway. But it's quite a good Bedford Arsenal presence, I'd say. Yeah,
good. Okay, so a couple of key games, key players. What about in the more kind of, let's say, the last 10 years? I'm thinking maybe Alexis Sanchez or Mesut Ozil. The more barren years before Arteta came along.
So, like, notable players?
Yeah.
I think Sanchez is probably the best player we've had in the Emirates era. I think the first player post Thierry Henry who, when he got on the ball, you just thought magic is going to happen here. Like, he's just going to do something like a freak. And it's a bit earlier than that, but I really loved Fabregas. So Henry left on my birthday in 2009, I think it was, which was devastating. But like, Fabregas was my next kind of favourite, and then obviously that didn't exactly go great either. I think he left shortly before or after my birthday of a few years later. But yeah, I'd say like Sanchez, Ozil. I'd be like I love a maverick, so Ozil would definitely be one of them. I understood the criticism of him, but I think he's one of them players that's just like an artist, and he deserves to have some industrious players around him to let him just do his work.
There was a sacrifice. Yeah. There was a kind of a handoff you had to deal with Ozil. I mean, he shouldn't have played every game. You know, there were certain games away at Stoke on a Tuesday night kind of thing.
Absolutely,
I mean, he often found himself injured for those games, funnily enough, anyway. So
that's true. Maybe tactically so, but yeah.
The Sanchez one is interesting. Do you include the current crop of players when talking about heralding Sanchez as kind of the best in the Emirates era?
I'd say we're probably in like a new phase now, right? So at risk of sounding like every knobhead on the internet, but like I think with Arteta taking over now, I think Sanchez was the chapter before, let's say, and now I think we're actually spoilt for choice with great players. Like, I really do think that we've got so many who I'd say not are all world class, but are certainly well towards that bracket and certainly more than capable of getting there. Like, you know, Declan Rice, I'd argue, is already there. You know, Bukayo Saka. Like, I think and that's what frustrates me about Arsenal fans at the minute, or a large portion of them. It's like, you realise how good we are at the minute. Like, it's only that there's happened to be a behemoth, a juggernaut like Man City, that meant we've not looked as good as we have been. And then Liverpool sneaking in round the back door after a pretty torrid season. And again, careful of excuses, but injuries and referee stuff, you know?
Yeah,
we're
legitimate mitigation there, definitely. There's just a nice bunch, this lot. You know, they're nice people. They seem like nice people. They seem like
they're together, aren't they? You can tell and do you know what I think? One of the best things Arteta has done, at risk of being called an Arteta sexual, which still is a word that sends me, the fully grown adult menus. Like, he's got rid of the players that aren't willing to do that and be part of it. And if you don't want to click in, then go.
Fine,
and I love that. I really like that about him, and I think everyone that's signed for him since, he's been crucial in them signing, because they recognise the kind of what he's cultivating. So it works, you know.
Okay, so looking back across your entire span as an Arsenal fan, give me your top three. Because I figure I know who you're going to say is your top player. Your top three best Arsenal players you've seen.
Okay, so then Thierry Henry would be number one. Probably say, in terms of like I've seen and loved, I'd go Fabregas second. I think he had everything. Like, so good, creative on the ball, but actually did a bit of dirty work as well. Like, he didn't mind getting in a tackle. You said he like loved the club. Not thrilled at how it all ended for him. Certainly not thrilled that we didn't buy him back and allow him to go to Chelsea.
Yes.
Bone of contention there, Mr. Wenger. Do you know what? I'll probably jump. It'd probably be Sanchez, to be fair, but that's really me being kind of like nostalgia bias rather than, I don't know, I feel like if you talk about like all-timers, you don't include the current crop, just in my own head. My brain kind of doesn't include the current.
Because they're still playing. Playing. Yeah. I mean, Sanchez was the real shock, because I certainly didn't know what kind of player we were getting when he turned up from Barcelona. And there are real echoes, or the Rodrigo situation for some reason resonates a bit of
I
that.
Can see
and I'm
that.
like,
when they say, they were basically rejected by Barcelona or Madrid, and you go, oh really? But you go, but even those rejected from there tend to be pretty good at football, strangely. I see that. That's a very good point.
Ozil was all right as well, wasn't he? Rejected
he weren't bad.
Ødegaard was rejected by Madrid as well.
So. Do you know what? He's probably my current favourite player, Ødegaard. I think he's like beautiful to watch. I don't think he was as effective last season, but when you take away that triangle he had with Ben White and Saka, you kind of understand it. He obviously had injuries himself, but he's probably my favourite current player. Like, I love Declan Rice and everything he gives to the club, but I don't know, I like a kind of say like a Maverick type, and I think Ødegaard's got that in him. And I like Ozil, to be fair, except he works his bollocks off, Ødegaard, of course. But I'd love to have the team set up where he can just be he keeps coming deep to receive the ball. And I'd love him to not do that. Just stay where you could be creative. Like, I'm hoping what Zubimendi brings is that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's funny you say that about Ødegaard. I've said to the boys on our podcast for 3-4 years, certainly in Ødegaard's say first, when he came on loan and then his first few months, I kept saying this footballer is the one footballer we have at that time who I felt would fit into the Invincibles team set up and squad. So I thought he was such a good player, and he did fall away a little bit last season. But again, other reasons for that as well.
I mean, like, I think he's the sort of player, if you put good players like Ozil, I guess you could say, if you put the right players around him, he would be perfect for anybody. Like, if you took him and put him in the City side, the Liverpool side, and if he has the quality to provide for, he's just got that thing, hasn't he, where it's just natural, it's fluid, and yeah, he maybe could be a bit more physically robust if that was my even better if, but you can't really help that. He's quite just small, but yeah, some of the stuff he does is them little like deft touches he takes and stuff. Yeah, I think he's great.
And I think Zubimendi and fingers crossed Eze.
That'd be really good.
We'll take that. Well, not only will take that creative onus away from him a little bit, but in terms of how the opposition set up against us, it will take that attention away from Saka as well.
Adding a centre forward, but we huge again, giving Ødegaard something to really target those real striker runs, and Havertz has some really good movement, but to get real striker runs like he has with Haaland when he plays international. But one main thing I was championing was another left winger, purely for that reason, to spread resources of the opposition. Because at the minute, the centre halves can go and squeeze on Saka because there's no risk of anyone in behind. Gyökeres, all of a sudden they're going to go, right, we can't, because that nutter's just running around. And if there's a real genuine quality winger on the other side, not that Martinelli, I don't want to throw shade at Martinelli at all, because I think his work rate off the ball is excellent and he's a good player. But if there's genuine world-class attacking threat on the left, all of a sudden teams have to go, right, well, we can't be just on him. Saka will be unlocked by the fact that they have to worry about others on the pitch. At the minute, he just gets drowned, doesn't he, really?
I've got a stat for Martinelli. I haven't got it in front of me, so I'm going to butcher it a little bit, but it's a stat that might shock you. It certainly did me. Non-penalty goals comparison between him and Saka. There's one goal in it.
That's crazy, isn't it? And do you know what, the important games he scored in too?
But Saka's had more minutes.
That is pretty crazy, isn't it? But I guess it doesn't disprove what we've just said, though. Equally, I think Saka draws a lot of heat from Martinelli, which means he can then get the space to operate, right? Yeah, I really like Martinelli as well. Like, I do really like him, but I just feel like there's maybe limitations to his game where he can't. I don't think he's going to quite become the top player that maybe we might have thought he would have become.
Well, let me ask you then: would you swap Martinelli for Rodrigo, or would you keep Martinelli and have Eze?
So if it's just straight swap, that's my only option. With a heavy heart, I'd say yes, even though you'd have to work out the defensive side. But if you have Eze as an option, preferably, I don't know, personally, I just feel like I just like Eze because he's already built for the Premier League. And I don't know, I just feel like he looks like an Arsenal player who'd be there because he wants to be there. I feel like Rodrigo could be kind of like I'll come because you want me to, not because I particularly want to. Do you know what I mean? Maybe Eze's
absolutely,
robust.
absolutely. There's a risk factor with Rodrigo, but then just drawing that comparison with Sanchez, perhaps and
Sanchez, to be fair, even did get his he got his head turned, didn't he? And obviously went to Man United. So
we don't talk about that.
And he regrets it day one, but it's like, well, yeah, we regretted it too. But you know, at least we got. At least we got Mkhitaryan, I suppose. So that's good.
He played in the Champions League final this season.
Yeah, football's weird. Yeah, football is weird.
It is it's mental that I can't believe that. But we'll come on to the current crop and this summer or last season, the summer transfer and so on. But just in your football supporting career, such as you'd call it, I don't know, career, life, I don't know, whatever it is, hobby, I don't know. Are there any non-Arsenal players that you've looked at and thought, oh, God, I'd love you at Arsenal?
Well, like all time or like currently playing?
Oh, no, previous. I mean, let's do both. Pick one from the past and one from the current.
I mean, my favourite all-time player, as in outside of Arsenal, would be Zinedine Zidane, because again, just an artist. I liked Ronaldinho because he's exciting to watch. But yeah, I'd say I think any team could have a Zidane in it and be better for it. Yeah, he'd probably be like the all-timer.
And he had an edge to him as well, which was great.
Yeah, again, a bit of a nutter. Like, it's always good to have someone who might headbutt someone in your team, just because it just,
in
it
a
keeps
World
them on
Cup
their
final.
toes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's been, obviously there's loads of talented players about at the minute, but do you know, I like that Kvaratskhelia.
The Georgian, what they call it, Georgian Maradona or something like that they call them.
I just love how like robust he is. Like, he's technique, he's skillful, he's direct, like works his nuts off as well. He'd be the current, again, and he's in a position where I think we do need to strengthen, and he'd cause that carnage that, he'd be the one at the minute where I'd go, like, I really like him. And weirdly, like, I don't know if I want to admit this out loud, but like Cole Palmer, because he doesn't make any sense. He just doesn't make any sense. You look at him and you think you should be annoying a maths teacher in year 10 somewhere, but like, you're just this elegant footballer. It doesn't make sense. But yeah, he's really one that I think, just watching him, he's serious.
You should have kept that to yourself.
Yeah, I know. And to like we've discussed him before, like we're both former teachers, he looks exactly like the sort of kid that I would want a slap across the head. But he can just play football. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah.
I mean, I will kind of, I don't know, playing devil's advocate a little bit perhaps. He went like 22 games without a goal, didn't he?
Like, for sure. Season. I'm not like, and obviously, of course, like there's this great saying, and it's stats are like bikinis. They show you a lot, but they don't show you everything. Like, they do show you a lot, but they don't show you everything. And most of my football opinions aren't really deeply entrenched in stats, because you're absolutely right. But yeah, just
the eye test.
Just to watch him. Like, I know he has his moments, which is just not the case. Maybe he's just. I think he found a lot of his success with Chelsea because teams took Chelsea less seriously for a little while there, which meant they flooded forward and therefore he got those chances. I think what'll be interesting to watch with Chelsea next season is, now that teams go, hang on, they're actually quite serious. Low block central. All of a sudden, how do they get on against low blocks? I think that's where Arsenal have started to suffer. Perhaps where Martinelli doesn't get the best out of himself anymore, because he's not got those high lines to exploit now, where teams thought we were soft, so they would come and get us. Now then, they don't think we're soft and they sit in. And I think that's where we suffer, and particularly Martinelli as well.
And that's why picking up someone like Madueke and
for sure, and
Eze potentially, hopefully,
those game changers are going to have those moments, right?
Those kind of chaos merchants as well.
The Pepes of this world, who don't, the defenders don't know what they're going to do because they don't entirely know what they're going to do either. That is the sweet spot.
He gets bad press, really. He got 16 goals in one season.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. He just, carnage. But I agree. There's been significantly more money spent on other players who've done far less than he did, for sure. But
yeah, I think Man United have about 5 of them currently.
Yeah, I'm sure
they can't shift.
Well.
Do you have a favourite kit? I notice you're wearing a nice one there.
I like the ones, any that aren't Puma, because I'm sure you'll appreciate that if you're not an athlete, you just look like sort of cling filmed ham in the Puma kits. So any of the ones that gave a bit more liberty to diets. Do you know what? I really liked the blue webbed away one, 2002, 2003. The 0-2, and it had kind of a web effect all over it. Omri scored against West Ham a half volley in that kit. I really like that one. I really liked the yellow with the blue collar that Pires scored against Liverpool at Anfield in. And I did find one of them at a car boot on the weekend, and it was like a triple XL, like they all are when you find old Arsenal shirts nowadays. And I would have bought it, except it'd be more like a tent. But yeah, I'd say those. I would say those. And since Adidas have come back in, it has to be said, they've knocked them out of the park. Like, they've been beautiful. But I don't really buy the shirts myself anymore. Once you've bought them for the kids, it's like, okay, that's the well dry. So I just don't. But that said, my wife bought me you see the third kit, the sort of turquoisey green one with the navy sleeves, quite recent. There's like a lifestyler one which has removed the Fly Emirates and like done a little, like, the badges are different. I got bought that for my birthday, and that's quite nice.
Because kits are just extortionate.
That's crazy.
I've bought my son's retro 1970-71 kit.
Oh wow!
Job done.
Do you know what's crazy though? Is like it is a bit mental, and I don't want to go like was Gary Stevenson the finance guy because I look a bit like him as well, which won't help. But like when like you didn't used to have a change of all 3 kits every year. It was like the home kit would be 2 years. Like the
2 years.
third kit would be last year's away kit. Like it has got a bit. There's liberties being taken now and they drop about 800 different special ones a season that are all beautiful.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly that. It doesn't help that Adidas is
just
quality,
stunning.
but their promo videos just get Arsenal.
Oh, I'm sucked right in. I'm sucked right in.
Straight away. It's like, we lost the weekend, but oh wow, that looks really good. I love that.
The thing is, all the actors they use are just like far cooler than I'm ever going to look in them clothes as well. So like, it's just not going to look the same. But I can dream.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so look, current day, last season, you've referenced it already. Like PGMOL. Refereeing, VAR decisions went against us, absolutely. Injuries went against us. But I mean, again, we're maybe part culpable for that a little bit. Lack of rotation, certain players and opportunities and so on. But it did feel that we were disproportionately impacted by
I'm just
certain things.
I'm hoping that footage leaks of a referee that's coked up starts calling Arsene Wenger all the names under the sun, or Arteta all the names under the sun, and maybe the PGMOL then go, we need to show them we don't hate them, and we might get a few more favourable decisions. The referee side of things, it's hard. Listen, like Jamie Carragher was saying, like, everyone thinks they're biased against their team, and there's an element of truth to that for sure, because that's what you watch, and there's confirmation biases. But objectively, there have been laws applied differently to the Arsenal than I've then not seen elsewhere, and rules that were once very stringently enforced, seemingly exclusively for us, slowly stopped being enforced, and it's just there in black and white. So it just gets a bit frustrating. And do you know what the worst part is because of the reputation Arsenal fans have now, because of certain Arsenal supporter groups, you can't make valid, reasonable comments on those things without just being cast as a nut job who's just bitter and salty and all that. But objectively, there were some heinous decisions made that, you wouldn't have seen anywhere else. It's like, if you see it for the first time, it's typically Arsenal who will get the arse end of it. Like Martinelli getting 2 yellows for the same phase of play and, stuff like that. You go, you never see it before. But of course, this is the time you do.
We won't see a penalty conceded like the Saliba one ever again.
Honestly,
ridiculous.
Yeah, just the never-ending list of them forgetting to draw the lines. That was 2 seasons ago.
You know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen start of this season. That new rule is it you concede a corner if the goalkeeper holds on for the.
Yeah, that's
so we're going to be penalised.
Luckily, the average height of the squad is about 8'4", so we'll be absolutely fine with that.
We commented on that on the 6 new signings potentially that we've got coming in by the end of this week. They're all
Arteta, loves duels. He just loves duels. He's a gooner for duels for sure, 100%. I mean. Yeah, they'll be really hot on it for a while. Do you know what? I'm curious to see if they really do stick with this, because we're quite good at corners. So I do wonder if keepers are going to be like, right, like a hot potato, just boot the ball immediately, no messing about. But yeah, we'll have to see. What we need to do, though, is take it out of the referee's hands. It's like a boxer. Don't take it to a decision. Don't put it in the judge's hands. Knock them out before the judges get involved. And we need to just, and you say, like, more rotation. But I think the signings this summer are with a view to have more rotation, right?
So long as he does it.
Yeah, which should anticipate. I mean, he must do, surely. It's tricky, because the moment you don't and then you drop those points, then it's why are you not prioritising this? And I think it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of culture of football now. But
the amount of money we're spending, certainly say on someone like Madueke, you have to give him minutes. You can't.
Of course.
I mean, on either wing, like I don't. It's some of his stats are really, really good. Some of them a little bit. Leave a little bit of room for improvement, but he's only 23, and that's Arteta's known for improving players.
Oh, for sure. I think as well, what will help as well if we honestly so much watching Arsene Wenger, he became my father figure that I actually do speak like him sometimes.
Feel free to break into
look as well. But if we go further in the domestic competitions, we'll have more chance to rotate. We didn't do that last season. I mean, the draw was a bit rough getting Man United, and fuck me, how many times do we just shit our pants against a very bad United side? But I think us getting stunted in the FA Cup affected our ability to rotate, and I think if we get a bit more opportunity to do that, and we should do that in the cups, but we can now rotate without compromise, which I think last season, if we rotated, you were kind of compromising the quality a little bit, which is always going to be the case, obviously, but less so when you've got the likes of Madueke who can step in, or if Eze was to come in, or It's a bit more the B side of the position is still going to be good, rather than just they'll do, which I think a lot of the times was last season.
Yeah, and I think the signings we've made so far, and I do believe there'll be one or two more as well, assuming the signings all go ahead. They've not just made our squad better, like floor raises and ceiling raises as well.
For sure.
So at least two of them are first 11 ceiling raises.
So you're saying Gyökeres and Zubimendi on that?
Yes, yeah.
With, assuming Gyökeres will happen, which I feel like it will. I think Sporting are just being arseholes, to be honest, but it seems,
and they're known for it as well.
They seem to have form. Yeah, I've had a couple of videos go quite wild, and I managed to corral a couple of Sporting Lisbon fans in there, and you'd think it was me sat doing the negotiations, and I can't stress enough that it wasn't. But yeah, it seems they have got a bit of form for it. I'm relaxed by it now. I think it'll get done. I think the Sesko stuff, I think we're right to walk away there. It felt like Leipzig didn't want to drop anything below like 90 million. I think Sesko still had an attitude as well of being like, I'll come if they agree to a deal, I'll come. I don't think he ever really was like gagging for it like Gyökeres, who's like dumped his girlfriend and done everything he can do to get the move to go.
Well, we've said that every player that's come to us this season has said at various points before the deal's been done, only Arsenal. It's only Arsenal.
Yeah, man,
which is really good.
And do you know, it kind of goes to show the nonsense noise you hear on the internet. Like, contrary to the beliefs of those who have thumbs and Twitter accounts, like, Arsenal aren't this clown outfit that they seem to want to cast us as, because top talent are recognising that that's the place to be right now. So yeah, it's a good sign for sure.
Well, do you know Clive off Arsenal Vision podcast? He put something out in the Sesko Gyökeres. This is when it was very much either or. We don't know which one.
Okay.
He said he was having a chat with his son, and he said to his son, "I'm more in the Sesko camp," and his son said to him, "I want the player that wants us." And that made me think, because then I thought, well, okay, Sesko turned us down last year.
Yeah, and also at the beginning, was it not that he was concerned about fighting for his place with Havertz?
Yeah.
And it's like, I want my guy to come in and be a killer and be like, well, it doesn't matter because I'm ripping the shirt off his back and I'm putting it on me, and it doesn't matter how good he is because I'm better. If you're spending the money we'd have to spend on him, I don't want someone going in going, oh, but what if Havertz doesn't like me?
Absolutely. And also, I mean, I don't know how the veracity of this, I don't know how true it is, but it certainly went around a few weeks ago that one of the sticking points with Sesko was that they wanted a release clause.
Right.
That was 20
that
was 20% higher than whatever the fee was we agreed with.
So not crazy amounts higher, that could very easily get
absolutely
triggered, right?
Yeah, so have it as 150 million, fine. But
yeah,
actually,
for sure, yeah.
But actually, we're a destination club. Now, I know that there's Barcelona and Real Madrid
of course,
level up. I get that. I'm not, completely blinkered. But we're for the 99% of the professional footballers out there, we should be seen as a destination club, not a stepping stone.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
And I know that's my club, and so I'm going to be a bit more blinkered on that. But
objectively, you are right. And especially the timing of it, where we've not signed an out-and-out centre forward since Aubameyang. It's a really important signing of a striker. So that striker has to be like here to deliver, not here to further his own career to sod off somewhere else. So I agree entirely with that. And Gyökeres certainly has done quite a lot to make it happen, hasn't he? So.
Yeah, like he's won me over.
Can I admit something embarrassing as well? So
yes,
the morning after it kind of more or less got confirmed, I got sunburned from the car boot, right? And I was putting some cocoa butter on my face, and I couldn't help myself when I was doing this. All of a sudden, I just did this in the mirror, and I started to smile, and I was like, "This is the most childish thing I've ever done." I told my wife about it. She started to doubt everything she ever knew about me, and / confirmed all she always thought all along. But yeah, I had a moment, and I was like, "I've just done the Eucharist celebration in the mirror. I'm 34 years old, so he's got to come now because it's exciting."
And listen, the joke will be on everybody else when 6,000 Arsenal fans at Old Trafford are doing the same thing when he's banged in his hat-trick.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'll be so happy for that, for sure. But yeah, I did catch myself going, what on earth am I doing? It just shows how much Arsenal mean, right? It's literally, I'm sure you're familiar with the film Fever Pitch, right?
It was written about me, yes.
So yeah, I don't know if life's shit because Arsenal is shit or the other way around, and that is literally my life. I make every partner I have, and that is exclusively one at a time, to be clear. I make them watch it, and I'm like, just watch this as a research.
Understand me.
this is the situation here, okay? Like, if you please, I'm like, that's the attitude if we're losing. So just leave me alone. And yeah, I think it's a good learning tool. I think every Arsenal fan should for sure like get their prospective partners to watch it and go, look, this is the deal. I will be doing your career celebrations in the mirror, okay? You just have to accept that. It's part of it.
And I will be getting you to rate them.
For sure. Yeah.
So look, we're recording on 15th or whatever it is, and this will go out in a few days' time. So who knows what's happened in the transfer window? But as we sit here, we've got potentially 6 players. Kepa, 5 million, I think, is an absolute steal. What a deal that is!
I don't think you get a better backup goalkeeper for
anything. No, not at all.
Anywhere
not
near
at all.
That price.
No. Norgard, Brentford captain, 10 to 12 million pound, absolute steal. And have you seen the video of him and his son?
Yes, it's so wholesome. It makes me feel a bit sick, actually. To be honest,
no.
It makes me feel a little bit. It makes I can't
tear to my eye.
I can't deal with sincerity and emotion. So watching that, no, I'm like a robot. I wanted to actually be violently ill, but it's beautiful. Do you know, like it is, and like it's when he's opening the shirt in the box in the car as well, and he's like, you think about it, but then you see it, and you can tell he's becoming like in awe. One little cynical part of my brain went, is this going to overwhelm him? Like he needs to be ready to step up, but then you go, no. Do you know what? He's probably given up. Even said himself, I've given up on perhaps give the Champions League as an idea, and it's like, no. Do you know what? No, actually, I can be there. So enjoy the moment, but then
I think he'll be 1,000% committed every minute he's on the pitch because he knows it's a privilege. He knows he's lucky because he thought he'd missed it. He thought it passed him by. I think I loved it. I mean,
I'm not going to, El Neni, right? Where it's just like, he's like, I can't believe I'm here. This is amazing. Allow me to run all the time ever. Like the 98th minute, and he's just like sprinting about like a lunatic.
Give me the contract, I'll sign it.
Yeah,
he doesn't care
what's... Like you say, it's a very smart signing. And I saw a thing where it was like about how he lacked squad rotation and depth, but the amount of players we're now signing that were regular players for top 10 Premier League sides, it's like that's a good depth to have. Like these are competent footballers that we're bringing in who might not be the glitzy, glamoury, shiny ones like Kepa, but I'd feel quite comfortable him playing games. Whereas Matey Boy, the one named after the dodgy supermarket used to bully kids for shopping at, Neto, he comes out of his box and starts trying to use his hands. I'm like, I can't. The only thing with Kepa, if Arteta says you're coming off, you're coming off. You're not standing on the field and refusing to be subbed. That's my only condition on that, and I'm sure it's in the contract.
But he was at Chelsea, so it was funny at the time.
Oh, hilarious, yeah. Was it Sarri, wasn't it?
I remember the incident.
For him not getting a cigarette out immediately after that, because you could tell he was stressed. Like, get off this pitch. What can you really do there? I don't know what the rule is.
I don't know.
Can't like tell
referee
his
send
mum,
him off.
Do you know what
I don't know.
I have no idea. Yeah.
So who else have we got?
Zubimendi.
So Mosquera could be the Saliba backup. 21-year-old, absolute beast. 75 La Liga games in the last 2 years. 13 million quid.
Yeah, again, more good business. I think that's the pull of the club, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, he said he was offered, I think, contracts at Valencia, but also an Italian Serie A club.
Como?
I don't know who it was that came in for him, but no, Arsenal. And then obviously Zubimendi, who is potentially transformational in terms of what he allows the team to do. I
think just by the nature of how it unfolded, it's become quite underwhelming. I think it's easy to kind of forget that we've signed this guy who's actually really... I always remember with him, because I was trying to explain to my wife, who I can't stress enough, could not care less. You remember the Euro Cup final when Rodri went off at half-time?
Yeah,
everyone was like, England fans were like, oh, we're in here. Yeah. And the level of performance didn't even drop an inch.
Nope.
And it's like, oh, why is that then? Well, that's the guy who come on. And my wife didn't care as much even after I said that. I dropped that bomb. And she still just went, okay. I was like, no, but that's quite good because Rodri's actually quite good at football. And then, but yeah, I think that's a real top sign. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend that I know Mosquera intimately, but I really trust Arsenal's talent ID because they've pretty much nailed it most times. So
we haven't had many misses. I mean, obviously Neto and Sterling on loan panic last day.
For sure, yeah.
You know, who've been misses. Vieira's probably been the biggest one for the outlay and the kind of disappointing return.
But the others, he was weird on money. He was.
Yes, I mean, Lokonga and Tavares, they were such small outlays. They were worth a gamble, and they were okay.
For sure.
And
the Vieira one is bizarre. I don't know if he seemed like he had a bit of technical proficiency to him. He just seemed quite hesitant. There was a couple of moments he scored a goal against Bournemouth,
It's a good goal, yeah.
And I was like, that's a good goal. But in that game as well after that, I remember I get caught up in really stupid little details. Saka went to then go for the ball and he kind of told him to fuck off. He's like, no, this is my ball. And I was like, that's what we need to see, him going, no, I'm taking this. And that goal almost gave him that, but he never could sustain that. He kind of then started to become, aesthetically, he's kind of like Bernardo Silva, but he didn't have the presence of mind to make the quick decisions and back himself, and I think that's where
or the presence physically. I felt as well.
Which is fine, but as long as you're because Bernardo Silva's not strong, but he doesn't need to be because he's already made his mind up and executed before a physical strong guy even gets near him. Whereas Fabio Vieira seemed to want an extra minute to have a little think about his horoscopes and everything before he, would play a pass. But yeah, that is probably the one where it's gone a bit but I guess they happen as well, right? You don't know what's going to translate into the Prem.
No, and the amount of hits we've had dwarf any misses 100%. That we've had completely. Who else have we got? And then Madueke, to chat a little bit about Madueke. I think some of his stats are brilliant. I think he underperforms. XG is the one concern that you'd have, lack of
quite
that
erratic,
clinical,
isn't he?
Yeah. But Chaos Merchant, only 23. And
I mean, we had a few comments on my TikTok saying, if we got him for like 10, 15 million, it's like, but you're never getting a player who's an England international, who's the right winger for a top 4 Premier League club for 15, 20 million. You're not getting that player for that money. So I think the price, do you know what, again, it's reactionary, it's knee-jerk, not that kind. And where, we've got 50 million to drop on Madueke, but not to finalise this €5 million for Eucharist. There's separate deals entirely. And it's because he plays for Chelsea. If he didn't play for Chelsea, nobody would give a shit. They'd go, we're signing an exciting young winger. He's played for England. The only reason he's not in the England team regularly is because Bukayo Saka's there. So in the same way we said, if you're not good enough for Madrid, you're still probably quite good. If you're not good enough to start for England, but because Bukayo Saka plays in that position, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're rubbish. But yeah, I think, and like I say, Arteta's track record of improving players, I think you can, and less so last season, I think Chelsea are getting their acts together, but it's hard to judge Chelsea players when they were playing in that circus for the years that they were.
And they signed so many players as well.
It might have been your podcast, to be fair. You're talking about the rate that they sign. It's not a bad marketplace to go.
Yes,
there's always been something. So I've done my research. But you are right. It's a good place to look because they do just go through players like I lie about going through pants. But they do.
I think I'm ignoring that one. I think with regards to Madueke, the two issues I had with it when it was first mooted was the potential harm it would do to someone like Nwaneri.
Yeah.
In the minutes he might, especially if his contract negotiation was at a delicate stage. I mean, the mood music is a lot more positive now.
It's not great for the optics in that moment, yeah.
Yeah, but the aspect was from his point of view. Why, you're not replacing Saka, but then if you take the Sesko kind of anxiety about who's going to be his competition for a first team place at Arsenal and use it against him, well, then you've got to applaud someone like Madueke who's backing himself. He's for sure. And I'm sure he's been told. I do think. I mean, I don't know this obviously, but I do think, or I suspect, that Madueke signing means that Rodrigo's not going to happen. That Madueke will cover minutes on the left-hand side.
I'd be inclined to agree with that. To be fair,
which is okay if that means that Eze is coming in, because I do think we need another attacking.
I think that's the more likely sort of the result of this summer for sure. I think Rodrigo's a bit pie in the sky. Listen, if the right deal falls in our lap, but I don't think that Madrid are going to be soft bargaining at all for him. Rodrigo would really need to agitate and be very particular about coming to the Arsenal, which I just don't think he will be. But Madueke has operated on the left for Chelsea quite a bit, and I've seen a lot of people draw comparisons to Rafinha, who Arteta wanted, of course, in terms of a left-footed left winger, which is funny what they used to always be. But
yes.
Being able to sort of, but then, which just isn't the case. I was trying to explain it to my lads, used to be, you'd go down a strong foot because you wanted to cross the ball in. That doesn't happen anymore. The horseshoe of death is now the thing. But Madueke has done that, and if he can get some minutes on the left and the right, because they've told Nwaneri they see him more as a central figure, right?
Yeah,
I think a good loan for Nwaneri could be so if we were to get Eze, someone said it in my comments, a loan to Palace, I think would be really, really good for Nwaneri and would make a lot of sense because Eze would have left. I mean, what better place to go and have a year? Palace play good football, they're a well-run club, they're local. We wouldn't have to sort of lose his roots. I think maybe I don't want to rush him out, but
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've not considered Ranieri on loan
He's just
somewhere. And
he's incredibly young, isn't he? That's the only thing.
he is, yeah, ridiculous. I mean, he's younger than Lewis Skelly. He's like
Yeah.
just turned 18. I mean, there's also Max Dowman in the background.
Where does he actually play?
Well, he's
everywhere in the highlights.
For me, yeah, it's more Ødegaard is his position. I think it's like a left or right, like an 8 or a 10 kind of thing.
He doesn't mind a little travel with the ball, does he? Every footage I see of him, he's just running with the ball. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and this is him playing as a 14-year-old with the under-21s. He's playing against men. He's 14. He's in year 9.
Yeah, I mean, and as again, former teacher, you think some of the year 9 idiots I used to teach. I mean, he must have been a hard one to teach PE. Do you know what I mean? Someone who used to work in the school had to teach basketball to his lad who's in like the under-17s development England team. I'm like, what can I show you about a layup? Like, do you know what I mean? But I mean, you've got to draw comparisons to Fabregas, right? Then the age he is and what he's doing, like, because Fabregas was 15 when he was
even more precocious. It feels. He's been doing, You know, he's a member of the first team.
That's preposterous, isn't it? Like, I'm thinking what I was doing at 15.
And he would have been had his birthday been like
he'd have been eligible, wouldn't he? Yeah,
he'd have played last season.
That's insane, isn't it? Like, that really is insane. But it's good. It's a good problem to have.
And look, listen, he's got Ødegaard and hopefully someone like Eze ahead of him. What great players to learn from, not just on the pitch but off the pitch as well. Because Ødegaard's the consummate professional.
Club. Yeah, the environment of the club as well. Like, I think there is that culture there where anyone's going to get on. If you're not a knobhead, you'll probably be just fine around the club.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably a big part of Arteta's criteria for signing a player: mentality, attitude, off the pitch. Don't disrupt the apple cart.
Yeah, rightly so as well. Yeah.
Okay, one more question on current state of play. Looking ahead to next season, do you think this is win or bust for Arteta?
No. I think for as long as you're seeing progression, and you can say last season wasn't, but I'd say with the circumstances, it was certainly holding par to the season before because of the adversity we did it through. You could argue we got further in the Champions League as well, so objectively there is progression there. And that's not to say even if we fall a bit short of last season next that he goes. I don't think that's the way that Arsenal operate. I don't think it's the way we should operate. And for as long as he's pulling players in from top clubs in Europe and top talent in Europe because they want to play for him, and we're looking like a team that's there or thereabouts, why would you start again? To start again and do what? Like, wait for another 5 years to get it right? I just feel like he's earned where he's taken us to where he's got us. He's earned that time and he's done it the right way. I think we played good football for the most part. But yeah, listen, I think the pressure will start to ramp up, but I just don't think from the ownership group, I don't think that's where they're at. I don't think they're going to be, well, you better win this time, mate, or you're off kind of thing. I just don't think that's the case.
And they've backed him.
Yeah.
They've backed him this summer so far, and hopefully will continue to for the remainder of the transfer window. So, because I was thinking that, imagine a scenario, because he was very vocal in January about we need a striker, and no striker came in, and it was really unusual. Yes. And if we didn't get a striker this summer, it's not a case of whether we'd get tired of him. It will be him thinking, well, I'm off because
I've done my best here. Yeah, I'm doing my best here.
But we are providing him with the tools now. Just as we're recording this, though, like a few hours ago, there's the fear is real amongst the Arsenal fan base that Isak will go to Liverpool, Rodrigo will go to Liverpool, and we'll be up against a team that will start every game with Salah, Wirtz, Isak and Rodrigo.
Yeah, it's not. It's not something you want to do. That's an incredibly strong front four, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Isak's for sale at any price. I just don't see that deal happening. Rodrigo,
so why do you think?
Possibly...
Why do you think Newcastle put an offer in for Ekitike? Then do you think that's like kind
apparently
of
to play alongside
succession?
That's what
they're very similar. Their profile's very similar. They sit central, but peel to the left, like a la Henry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Would be the short answer.
Getting the succession planning in early, I think someone said, which I thought was fair enough.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
it could very well be. I don't know. It's not something I want to consider, to be honest. I think like Isak, like he runs hot, obviously, and last season was incredible, and he's clearly very, very, very good. I will say injury prone.
yes, yeah.
Which is something to always be considered. But yeah, I've always thought like the way that Liverpool play, he'd be so suited to their fast transitions and stuff. Yeah, it wouldn't be ideal. Like, don't get me wrong, but like I think I'd still back the Arsenal. I think we've recruited well, and as much as I'd love to go and buy him for 140 million, we had more places and things to do, so we couldn't allocate that budget just to him.
This kind of meltdown that why don't we go for, if Isak's available, why aren't we going for him? Well, do you know what? I'd much rather spend similar money or less money on Eze and Gyökeres than just all on. I mean, someone tweeted 140 million quid is a lot of money for a part-time footballer. They were pointing towards his injury record. I thought. But do you know what? I'm pretty confident that Arsenal are fully aware that Isak wouldn't come to us, is not for sale, whichever way round it is. Yeah. You know, if there was a chance that we could have got Isak, that we would have.
I don't think that was ever. And that's the thing, like, again, like, I see a few people on Twitter now, or whatever they're calling it now, X, saying to people like, I don't understand Arsenal's transfer strategy. And people are saying, well, you wouldn't do because that's why you're not sat in the boardroom, you're sat on Twitter. And I'm like, exactly that. Like, we don't know. We only know what we think we know. There'll be so much behind the scenes that we're not privy to, and of course we're not. Why would we be? So, like you say, it could have been the fact that Isak's it's a non-starter. Like, he's not for sale. Yes. If he was, then he'd want to go to Liverpool. We go, okay, well, that exactly. There's no point pursuing that. Yeah. Let's go and work on our other stuff. But yeah,
and I know it was Gary Neville who said quite famously when we bought like Ben White, and I don't understand Arsenal's transfer policy. It makes perfect sense. Look at it, just. Use your eyes. And
I mean, Gary Neville there's a very small cabal in the Sky Sports media space for football it's become an echo chamber that nobody challenges their views, and then the less you're challenged, the more carried away you get with yourself. And it's frustrating really, because actually I really started to enjoy Gary Neville as much as anyone could enjoy Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher, but they started to become caricatures of themselves, and that's when I just went, do you know what? It's not even enjoyable to watch anymore. It's reactionary. It's all the things that I don't want my TikTok to be. They're saying things that they know are clippable, that they know will drive engagement, rather than have an objective, reasonable discourse. And it's a shame, really. But yeah, I don't pay attention to what Gary Neville thinks about anything anymore, especially Huel. Don't buy Huel. Let's go like anti-Gary Neville. Huel's toxic poison. There you go. Don't sue me. I don't have any money.
Yeah. Apart from that last bit, I couldn't agree more with everything you said there.
Come on, back
Neville and Carragher and Sky Sports. Absolutely, they're rage baiting. They're old news now. The football punditry, thanks to fan culture, has surpassed them.
Oh, for sure. And then they're trying to keep up by going, how is it successful for them? Well, it's immediate, it's reactionary, it's hyperbolic. Let's do that. And it's like, but it makes sense from randoms on the internet. It doesn't make sense from decorated, established former footballers. You just look like idiots. Like, you should be offering the alternative.
Who like you, I mean, I've got some very deep-seated, irrational, no, I say rational actually, hatred of Manchester United and all things Manchester United. I've been burned many, many, many times. Yes. And I was at the Giggs goal semi-final replay, for example, like the Bergkamp penalty miss, like, oh dear.
But then Heinz becoming a coach, I'm still not comfortable.
No, I'm not on board with that at all. If you've listened to every word of our podcast, I've not mentioned it because I can't. I can't bring myself to talk about it.
I bet he drinks Huel as well. I bet he loves Huel, which just makes it even worse.
So from that starting point, I'd really grown to enjoy Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher's very kind of well thought through analysis and so on. Yeah. But in the last 2-3 years, it's really gone the other way, and it's gone full circle, and I'm back to where I was when he was a player.
And it's a shame, really, because it offered a refreshing change where it was like, I think this is really nuanced and articulate and interesting, and then they just become an echo chamber, and they're just saying things that just are they make no sense. They don't hold up. Like Jamie Carragher saying about how Miles Lewis-Skelly wasn't allowed to get changed with the first team because Arteta was going, you're not there yet, son. No. Safeguarding laws means he can't change with men because he's a child, but no one in there challenges it. And it's like, well, that's why they keep getting more and more carried away with themselves, because it's like they just say things that have no weight and nobody goes, hang on, you're an idiot. Like, stop talking about the calories in croissants, and like, just generally, it's frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely. Stick with the sound Arsenal fans on TikTok. That's what I say.
Stick with a very small percentage of Arsenal fans on TikTok is what I would caution you to do. Yeah.
Right. Last bit, and this is you're only allowed one-word responses. So I'm going to give you either or. Okay. Going to run through a few options. Right. Red or yellow?
Red.
Home or away?
Home.
Journey or destination?
Journey.
Tactics or passion?
Passion.
Pub or social media?
Pub.
Watch on TV or in the ground?
Ground.
Monday Night Football or Match of the Day?
Can I say neither?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to.
But I'd want to go to the
there.
Premiership because they were the glory years on ITV. I would want to go to the Premiership. We'll go Match of the Day.
VAR in, VAR out. Highbury or Emirates?
Highbury.
And the contentious one, as it's turning out for me in these North Bank meets, Champions League or Premier League?
Premier League first.
Okay, that. This sounds really arrogant. That was the correct answer.
Yeah. I just get that one first. Get that one first because it's been too long. I'd love us to win the Champions League, but just get our Premier League back in the fucking stadium. We need that first, and then we can worry about the Champions League after.
Well, I had Amanda from the Same Old Arsenal podcast, and she said the Champions League, and her reasoning was actually really solid. It was like, so we got it, so they can stop winding us up about it, about not having it.
Fair,
and I thought, you know what, I can get that. And actually, I reckon if you ask that question to the current crop of players, they might say the Champions League as well.
You're probably right. I think it's a generational thing as well. It's not that the Champions League was not big when I was younger, but I don't know, the Premier League was just sort of like the premium, and then I think because England weren't notoriously great in the Champions League, it kind of became less attainable, so maybe it weren't as expected. But I think in today's world,
it was also only one club in it. It was the European Cup. It was the Champions.
Yeah,
That was it. I think the Champions League has become for Europe, as in European players, what the FA Cup might have been for us in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, that's
that
interesting.
kind of the Glory Cup.
You could probably assimilate that with the fact that Europeans are now more commonplace in the Premier League as well, which maybe with the FA Cup's taken a back seat and the Champions League has become the pinnacle because it's become quite homogenous, hasn't it, in terms of nationalities across the leagues?
Yeah,
it's a very fair point. Look at us, that was actually really quite profound. We made football profound. Imagine that.
Listen, there's a fantastic book of Arsenal poetry out there where it's the new look. It's the new look. It's the new evolution of the football fan.
The football fan and artiste finally as one.
Not angry man shouting at cloud kind of.
That's very much the way I live my life, to be fair.
Well, anyway, listen, that's it. That's fantastic, Dan. Really enjoyed that. Thank you very much
I've enjoyed it.
for jumping on. Again, we'll link to all the places that people can get their fix of Dan Mayo in the description. Check it out, and we'll clip this, and this will be coming out over the next few days and weeks and months and years.
I apologise, my room's got gradually darker.
You have slowly disappeared into the.
That's how I am. I'm elusive, and
Not many people make me look bright.
I'm happy to provide that service to you.
Anyway, look, thanks a lot, Dan, and and the rest of you, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and catch us the next time. Cheerio, bye-bye.
It's all right.
The North Bank, an Arsenal podcast. Subscribe, rate and review on your app, and find us on your socials at North Bank Pod. Email hello@thenorthbankafc.com and check out our website, thenorthbankafc.com. Produced by the Podcast Company.